So, I've been percolating just a little bit and wanted to say just a little something about it. You know, gods with characteristics that are of a certain way, often in comparative mythology, have certain gods with certain stories of a similar nature. They end up a certain way, right? And let me tell you something. There are two excuse me. There are two one-eyed gods in mythology, and one of them is definitely not comparable to Odin. One is a Japanese god of mountains and blacksmithing, which makes him much more associated with Thor. Oh, and then of course there's Odin. Horus lost an eye in battle, which is not a self-sacrificing act, and then it was restored by a goddess anyway. I think his mother or whatever. So this quality of an injured god who has lost an eye and is one-eyed, as one of his great distinctive features in his humanization, his personization. This is unique to Odin, and everybody in that sphere of his iterations, Odin and Wotan and Grimnir and all these other guys and all these gods are all fit nearly the same effing description, right? To the point where there was almost no point in bickering over the semantic details, right? Every version of Odin has one eye. And Odin is the only one-eyed god, right? Now, many gods, especially various Norse gods, have made their sacrifices. Primarily the Aesir males, right? Odin's eye, Heimdall's ear. A lot of people don't know about Heimdall's ear. Heimdall's ear is in the same place as Odin's eye, in the well of memories, which puts it into the unconscious. And these represent the eye of the mystic and the ear of the mystic. And then, of course, the hand of the mystic, which is Tyr. Granted, his hand is not in the Well of Mimir. His hand was sacrificed unto the one who is attempting to undo memory, because he is the one who wants to swallow Odin whole. And if he's swallowing Odin whole, he's taking Mimir with him, because Mimir is held by Odin. So these are, so it's very interesting that no other culture has this trope. I don't think anybody else has a one-eared god either. I'm not sure about that. I know that we have Nuada in the Celtic mythos. He's lost a hand like Tyr. under completely different circumstances, and then he has his replaced by a biomechanical thing, right? He has like a silver arm of some sort. You know, this gets into the credence that the Tuatha De Danann mythos is an ancient high-tech civilization's recovery story, you know, where they came to this island with this other people there already, and these were good men who were allegedly from Atlantis in the theories, and these good men of Atlantis took Eru as their home and did right by the people that were already living there, which is why they got made into gods, right? And that's the idea, which is why their story doesn't, like, Celtic mythos of their gods is so fucking human. You know, it just feels like mythological history more than it does mythology, right? It's like a fucking City of Troy type of story where you just don't want to believe that these places existed, these events actually happened, and because the story has its mythological component of the lessons of the allegories that they are, it serves that purpose and doesn't have to be used. And obviously it shouldn't be used as primary history because it doesn't hit all the beats to be to be primary history. It would have to be, as a history source, it would have to be validated by other things, and all you're really doing is mastering the context of the historical elements of the mythology, which who knows how sci-fi-ish things actually get. And I'm perhaps foolishly inclined to believe that it gets way more sci-fi-ish in reality. Just because, you know, it's like, imagine if you told a story that takes place in the 21st century, you know, a modern story, and you don't, and you tell that story in a manner that takes details for granted in the time that they were given. So you talk about how, and then right then and there, you had a conversation with your dear uncle who lived many miles away, right? Like you're talking about getting on a phone, on a cell phone, because the circumstances of the story being told is you're in the middle of a field or something, right? And the guy's far away. So, you didn't tell anybody that there was a cell phone, but because you, in the time of knowing the story, know that it's meant for a story of your time, you're just like, oh, well, naturally he's on the fucking cell phone. Right? As opposed to him just magically using some sort of psychokinesis to have a telepathic communication with somebody. Right? Granted, that's going on in the myth, and there's hints to when they're talking about technology. It's quite obvious when you start talking about various artifacts, legendary weapons, and so on. Right? It all kind of makes sense in that respect. Alright, I see you there, Tim Timony. Maybe I'll take a peek at the messages as soon as I get a parking spot. Where are people trying to park here? I want to go in this spot. If he's not parking there, then I'm parking there. Because that's a good spot. I want it. You're busy today at the gym. Right? So, the most important lesson to take away from my point about Odin being the only one-eyed god of his nature is that these are inherent natural limits to our academic understanding of things in comparative mythology and things that are going to absolutely be common between all civilizations. Sometimes things are much more unique than that, right? Because I can tell, just like I'm sure Neil Gaiman could tell, that Anansi was far too much like Odin when you actually pull back far enough on the essence of the things attributed to Anansi, and you start realizing, with him being the god of storytelling and Odin being the god of poetry, and him being a trickster, a benevolent trickster deity, and he's a benevolent trickster deity. Oh my god, right? So all these things fucking happen. Well, that was the Roman soldier. Okay, Judas Iscariot lost an ear, and Picasso. Or no, that was the Roman soldier that Judas brought, I think. Yeah, that's what it was. One of the apostles, not Judas, because Judas does the Judas kiss and he gets out of the fucking way. One of the other apostles that's there is trying to stop the Roman from arresting him, and he slices off his ear, and then Jesus, like, stops him from doing so, right? And Jesus didn't stop him from doing so because he was a good guy. Because otherwise, based on the entire principle of Jesus in his time, none of those apostles should have been armed. Why were the apostles armed with weapons? It kind of undermines faith, right? It's just like, here, just in case my dad doesn't protect us and you will need my forgiveness later for killing somebody, I give you this in case my father doesn't intervene, because I know you're gonna get fucking drunk on the purple and pass out. But anyway, I thought it was an right, yeah, I just explained that he had, yeah. Alright. Yeah, I've seen The Life of Brian, yes, and that's a certain truth, is that part of it was, people, just like in all empires, disgruntled about the imperial occupation of their land. Pretty fucking simple. Pretty fucking familiar, funny enough. Anyway, I'm gonna go get a pump. I'll catch you guys later.